Here I am looking up on the internet a previous 5 years ago user of Android on how to use an iPhone to customize it and all that. And it's kind of surprises me because I know back then, at least 5, 6 years ago, back then to me was like Apple. If I jumped to Apple, which I did, it was just so simple to know what I had to do, right? And that's why people like the phone also because of the simplicity, if I remember correctly. At least that's what I think. And like it's the phone that you would give to grandpa, grandmas, parents, so it's the simplest phone they could give for them to just to know what to do and not overcomplicate things, right? But here I am now, and I have used Android 5, 6 years ago. So I'll just say I don't know how complicated it is now since I don't have an Android phone. But 5, 6 years ago, I jumped to Apple, and the simplicity was like, well, okay, this is too limiting. I need more. Anyway, here I am now, having that's iPhone 12 mini I had, and now I'm at iPhone 17. I guess I didn't touch much stuff there. Now I got iOS 26 here, and I have to look somehow online to figure stuff out a bit because there's this float thing I think where you navigate and you just have a feel for it and you just know it's there. Maybe you don't figure out a little bit. It's there. There's a float thing, but here I'm lost with this software. And how do I do this thing called spatial audio, turn off this, why the sound from this, and the software, how do I tilt the glass, what is this. My point is, I feel like I, at least on iOS 26, maybe it's starting now, it's complicated enough that I feel like if you worry about Android, from my experience of 5 years ago, so I'm not the most accurate, that you shouldn't be too worried. Like if I'm getting lost here, like if you jump to Android, you'd be at the same place somehow. Like I feel that's a worry that they had a lot of people had back then, that Androids were complicated, iPhones more simple to go for iPhone. But now I think we're at a point where, well, maybe they'll fix up themselves. I don't know. To be at least, it feels like we're at this point where you shouldn't think about complexity if you're going to go to Android, because Apple is a little complicated now in terms of navigation, figuring some stuff out. Um, again, I don't have a recent Android to actually judge if the Android phone is actually as simple as an iPhone now, or they got like super complicated. But it's complicated back then. I think it was really just the fact that you could just do more on it. If you didn't want to do those stuff, you just don't touch those stuff, I guess. But the calling somebody, contacts, going on the browser, YouTube, all that was pretty simple. There isn't really much complicated or much difference between Apple and Android software wise. Like what you had to do is still navigate the same thing and download it and stuff like that, right? The other thing I think was Android was security issue, lags, and stuff like that. When I had a phone which was a S8 Samsung, I think I didn't really have that much issues. Honestly, I don't remember having that much issues. Honestly, did I notice a update something better with my maybe my battery kind of died a little bit fast sometimes I felt, but I'm sure that's like now 2025 it's not like a biggest issue, or it's probably not an issue as much because nowadays I feel like people want like a huge battery life. And I'd be like, how long do you have to keep the phone till you have to charge? I guess it depends on how heavy of a user you are. I am a basic user, and I feel like a lot of people are basic user. Social media, internet, YouTube, phone calls, a little bit camera there. Is that a basic user? I don't know. Then you'd probably be fine, right? But I think the heaviest one is like you do like a long and a lot of video for a long time, not just like a quick burst thing for the video camera stuff, but like a long time camera usage in a day, and high graphic gaming. I think those are like a high user. And yeah, so if you are a basic user, I think battery is not the biggest concern. it'll probably be okay for you. Um, and if we're talking about power as well, I think the Androids are as equal as an Apple now. Because I remember back then, the Apple chips were always like better, right? And I think now the latest ones are like equal. I think the iPhone 17 versus the S25 is kind of equal, if I remember correctly. I don't know GPU wise, maybe the Apple's a bit better. But the actual iPhone 17 versus S25 isn't correct. That's what I read somewhere. It's the S26 that fights against the iPhone 17, which releases 6 months from now. So I don't know. But the point is, with all that power, if you're a basic user, you should be okay. You should be set, right? That's what I think. If you're like intense, then maybe you're probably looking for like the top power and stuff like that. So with that all that said, if you're a basic user and the complexity between iPhone now, I feel like would be good, at least from my knowledge from back then, going to an Android. Again, which I think the misconception happened to the fact that it's a complicated phone in the sense that you could do more with. There's more option to you to do this, and that. And now it's pretty much matching this iOS 26, I think, from back then Android. But all that, you didn't need to touch all that. You could just do the basic things and it should be good. Because it's the same thing. You still end up downloading from the store, calling, contacts, email. Everything's like the same navigation wise flow thing going kind of feel. But just like coding is different, we'll say. Yeah, but I'm not the right person maybe because I don't have a phone now, so I don't know how complicated Android looks now to compare to an iPhone. But I'm guessing the marketing thing going forward, they probably like made it so it's not too complicated since they know that people probably like a little more simplicity, but they also hid in all the complexity inside if you want to access that stuff. I make it sound like it's a huge. Again, I don't know how it is now, so I can't say for sure. But it was never like a huge thing. You just download apps and use your phone, go on YouTube. If that's all you did, it should be simple enough. But yeah, I'm just surprised I'm getting lost on iPhone right now with what I have to do with how to customize this. Where does it go? What is happening here? What is this? You know, iOS 26. I think this iOS 26 like making me a little dizzy. Yeah, I don't have anything compared to, so that's probably a bad video exactly at this point, at this comparison moment. But it just feels like you should be able to jump to an Android now, right? From my experience from 5 years ago, you should be able to jump to an Android now, and it should be, if you're able to do all the stuff on Android, customize this, that, and that, this and that, you should be able to appreciate Android, and it should be, you should. I think there's a point where you become a user where you've kind of did a lot of stuff on the iPhone or enough stuff on the iPhone that you should make the jump to an Android to unlock the full ability of what you can do on a phone. Slowly, at least, you should be able to have fun with it, I'll say. And that's what Android gives you. I don't know what it is now, but whatever. Yeah, so if you're a long-time iPhone user, I will recommend to make a jump on an Android phone with the fact that you're a basic user. For that much, I'll say. And I think you should have a fun time, Probably Android, you could probably do more now against iPhone. Again, I don't know how it is, but with how complicated iPhone's getting, I feel like it's, it should be good. I don't know how exactly the phone you're gonna get is gonna be good. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. I'm saying if I'm comparing an Android to Apple right now, they're not right now, back then. They're kind of, if you're okay with this one, you should be okay with the other one. I don't like the flow on the iPhone right now. Like, maybe I'm still getting used to it. Navigating here and there and this. So I have to customize this and that. What button there? Oh, okay. Okay, we have to go to depth. Okay, for the 3D effect on the image. It just isn't flowing very well in my head for some reason. But maybe because I'm getting old or something. I think I'm that old. Anyway, this video's getting long. And I don't have an Android, so don't take what I'm saying seriously. I'm saying my opinion here. Gotta get an Android.